Sunrise is always beautiful on Little Bay De Noc, which is at the northwestern end of Lake Michigan in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Now, this scene was taken in 1998. That's when there was still lots of water in the bay. This year, the water's at least 1.5 feet lower in Lake Michigan, which makes boating risky for people who don't know the reefs and shallow spots, especially within a half-mile of shore. Our guide today was Walleye Pro Mark Schultz. Mark knows the shoals and shallows and rocks and pilings of this bay, so he can wind up his Ranger walleye boat to 50 miles an hour with confidence, but that's not recommended in 1999 for most fishermen. The water's too low, and one rock can tear the outboard off your transom.
Today we're using 1/4-ounce jigs with the gold hooks for a little flash. Then we're using 4 and 5-inch sucker minnows. Basically, your forage this time of year is pretty large. You don't have any more small perch or fatheads are pretty much done spawning. So these hold up pretty good on a hook. Just have to let the walleyes take it a little while. They suck it in.
There we go.
And, see if we can't get a walleye instead of a smallmouth bass.
Now, why are we using sucker minnows instead of shiners?
I like using suckers. They hold up better.
Okay.
A little more durable. Shiners give you a little more flash and they might work a little better if you can keep them alive. The water's been warm. Water's still almost 70 degrees, even for this time of year, and they don't hold up well.
Now, what type of area are we fishing? What's underneath us?
We're fishing, there's 3 reefs out here, and they're pretty much shale, and then in between there'll be some mud and some weeds. So we just keep, what we started was going over the humps. We're just trying to hit the tips, go up and down and up and down. And you can feel your hook bounce on the shale, get hung up once in a while.
Now, how deep water is it, though, to the top of the reef?
Top of the reef's about 10 foot.
Okay, and then down
And
below?
it'll taper out to 19, 20 feet, and then it turns to mud. And then you have one big mud basin out here.
Okay.
And the walleyes will scatter over the mud, too. We'll look for those a little later.
So just a matter of finding them.
Just finding them.
Being a walleye pro, Mark wanted to catch walleye, but on Saturday morning, we mainly caught smallmouth bass. Now, that wasn't in the playbook.
Yeah, I think we got a walleye.
No, smallmouth.
Yeah, but it's a nice one.
A nice small one.
You gotta like this. Boy, they're pretty bass up here. Nice dark and
A little bit of shoulders on them.
oh yeah.
You want me to grab that for you, Fred?
Oh, I think I can get it. Hey, I've seen the bass fishing shows. I know how they do this.
You gotta walk it around the boat, though.
Yeah.
Then you gotta kiss it.
Yeah. From behind the camera, Matt Radzilowski is always trying to get me to kiss the bass the way the Southern boys do it on the bass fishing shows before they toss their bass back. Well, frankly, I much prefer to keep the bass and lick my lips as I eat the pan-fried fillets, but I'll toss this one back. Mark uses one of his live wells just for minnows because he frequently uses minnows for catching walleye, even in tournaments. But we were ready to go with crankbaits or night crawlers or whatever the fish would hit. Mark took us over prime walleye habitat in 14 feet of water where we caught bass.
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 Smallmouth. Oh, it's a fish. We broke the ice.
Just that big minnow?
Yep. Smallie.
One thing I've learned is that walleye pros are walleye pros and bass pros are bass pros. They like catching their preferred species, and while catching something else is fun, it's a disappointment to them because it's not what they're after.
That's a nice fish.
Yeah.
Well, it sure is. Wow. Oh, boy, that's one chunky bass.
That's a nice one there, Fred.
That's a heavy-bodied baby.
About 2-pounder.
Man, that is a nice one.
Live well?
That's very impressive.
No, unless you want them. I don't use them.
Well, actually, I wanted to keep it, but it's not really what we were after. That's an impressive fish. With all these smallmouth around hitting near the surface, we decided to try casting crankbaits. Are there pike in that grass in there? It's always looked to me going along Bay De Noc when you see how that...
I really couldn't tell you, to be honest. I would assume there would be.
Again, Mark goes for walleye, not pike.
Oh, boy, did he smoke that.
He gave me a shower.
Yeah, oh, and he's gone.
Oh, gee.
He's gone, yeah.
Wow.
Did he want that?
What, did you just about have that in the
It was right at the boat. I mean, I was just going to pick it up, and he just literally hammered it.
How big was it? Did you see it?
25, 30 inches. You know, it was a nice fish. He wanted it. The 6-pound test just doesn't quite hold up.
A pike.
Oh, wee! Okay. Oh, this is cool. Walleye, smallmouth bass, northern pike, hey, it doesn't matter to me. I like eating them all if they're from cold, clear water. Doesn't look like it's hooked very well. Nurse him in. Now he'll come alive. There's the hook. Came out.
All right. That's the best part.
Yeah. So what do you think about pike?
What do I think about pike?
You like to eat them?
If somebody else wants to clean them,
Oh.
they're good eating.
Well, a lot of fishermen don't like to handle pike because of their excessive slime.
Grape flavored lures.
Now this one is slimy. Holy cow. In fact, it kind of doo-dooed on me right there. Well, this is a 24-inch measure ruler, and it's over 24. It's about 25, 26. Put them in a live well and fillet them up. Okay, big walleye, check this out. Whoa! Now that's going to be a respectable live well.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
Well, I love eating fresh fish, and I enjoy catching all kinds of fish. They don't have to be big either for me to have fun catching them.
Oh, he's a whopper, too.
He is I'd call him a cheeseburger. I tell you, every time you get your hand in their mouth, there we go. No, he's not real big, but I tell you, they really get cranking on the fighting. You know, they're getting smaller. Every fish is getting smaller.
Look how much bigger he is
Look
now.
how much bigger. Here he goes. Matt Radzalowski put the camera down during the time when the bass were going crazy, so I picked up the camera to see if Matt was going to kiss that bass before he tossed it back. He's always trying to get me to imitate those goofy bass fishing shows. Hey, I don't mean any disrespect by that. Goofy is good. I mean, goofy can be entertaining. I do a lot of goofy things on this show, but kissing fish is something I've never gotten into. But Matt looks good with this bass. He's holding it like they do for the camera, and I got to wondering how far he'd go. I suggested that he just give it a little smooch. Come on, Matt, do it. And he does, but then he wipes his mouth off. Oh, well, I can understand that, though, can't you? Late September in Little Bay De Noc, just as in many cold water lakes, everybody can catch smallmouth bass. It's a good time to fish. Walleye Pro Mark Schultz showed us some good walleye as well as pike and bass. If you've got a pretty place to fish with company you enjoy, I can't imagine a better experience.